It's the Bitcoin mansion of El Salvador, and we're bringing the best, most brilliant minds from all over the world and in El Salvador to create a culture of growth in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin.
Why you guys went to El Salvador and lived there, moved there, invested, all the investments that you guys doing, Bitcoin mansion and Surf City.
This is the highest concentration of volcanoes on the planet, and there's something energetic to that.
I had to find ways to be creative. So Airbnb was one of those things. I had hustled because I come from two immigrant parents that came here with $17 and believed in real estate and working hard.
And he brought some of the most amazing cryptocurrency people in the world to that home. If we just focus on buying as much land as we possibly can, once the infrastructure comes in, it's a game changer for us.
I knew one day I was going to do something big, and I wanted to help a lot of people.
Welcome to Edgardo Valdivieso Show. Wow, this been excited every single week. We have new guests, new people that come and tell the story. And every single time there's a new story. And for you not to miss any of these stories, make sure to subscribe and give us a like, because this channel is growing every single day. And today we have two business people, two friends that I got to know them for the last few years. And wow, they're very successful. And their story is very exciting and interesting that you don't want to miss. And for that, you want to stay until the end of this video. Welcome to the show, Eddie and Julian. How you guys doing?
Good, Edgardo. Thanks for having us on, man.
Thank you, Edgardo.
I love the energy. Let's go.
I love the energy, man. That's exactly how I felt when I started this project.
And I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hear your story. In our community, I'm very sure that it's very, very excited too to hear your story, because you guys right now, you guys are in Salvador, right?
Absolutely.
Right now.
Transforming
we live
the
here with our families. Yep.
And we're going to get to that. But Julian, you came from what? From Miami to El Salvador?
Miami, Texas, El Salvador. Yeah.
And now you live in El Salvador, right?
I live here with my 3 kids and family. Yeah, my wife and I.
And we're going to get to that. Eddie, so you came from Los Angeles, New York,
and then Texas.
And now you live in El Salvador.
My mother is Salvadorian. My father was born in a country called Guyana, a part of Venezuela, right next to Venezuela.
Okay. So to start the show, the people that are listening and they're watching, they want to know who's Eddie, who's Julian. We're going to start with you first, Eddie. Tell us about you. Who's Eddie?
Well, Edgardo, thanks you for putting this together. Getting to know you over the last couple of years has been awesome to see your transformation, your story, and seeing, like, for you, you just seem like such a servant guy that wants to give back. So it's a pleasure to be on here and give any value that we can give here. But my story goes back to growing up in Connecticut, New York days. I was a professional dancer. My father had a pretty successful company. He built the ventilation systems for the Twin Towers, had a big vision for me to take over the family business. He was the #1 contractor for Con Edison, which is the power plant for New York City. So huge company. Father had the vision for me to take it over, and I decided to completely go down a different route. And after professional dancing for a long time, at 19, I went into net marketing. And for the next 10 years, worked 100-hour weeks and built some of the biggest organizations in the world.
Wow. And we're going to get to that, okay, about the professional dancing with the stars. So hold on to it before the people. I want people to, to wait and hear the story. Julian, who's Julian for the people that is watching?
Absolutely. So thank you, Eduardo, for putting this together. I love the energy. I love the show. And so a little bit about me. I'm from New York originally. Grew up in Jamaica, Queens, in a rough neighborhood, had rough beginnings. And then I moved to Pennsylvania in a suburb where I grew up with all a white American suburban town where everyone was doctors, lawyers, and I didn't really fit in, and it was hard. And sports really connected me to people. I was a 3-sport athlete. I was probably one of the strongest kids in my school, pound for pound, had broke records, was a wrestler, 3-sport athlete, football player. And I really got into developing myself in personal development. And I was obsessed with personal development because I knew one day I wanted to do something big and I wanted to help a lot of people. I just didn't know what it was going to be in. And so I knew I had to develop myself. So I decided to set a big goal to be a surgeon. So I was going to be an oral surgeon at 18 and I went for it. I found the most successful person I can find, made him my mentor, and he was a surgeon. And then from there, I decided I didn't want to be a surgeon. And I saw his lifestyle, saw everything he was doing. I was like, all right, this is not for me. And so I still wanted to be a doctor, but I want to be a doctor that in something I loved. So I discovered acupuncture, holistic healing, energy work. And I fell in love with it because I realized, health is wealth. And I wanted to live long. And I noticed the Chinese people, they have 1.4 billion people and they have the least amount of cancer. They live longer. So I was really fascinated with this art, especially when I went to China. For my brother was going to get deported to the Marines and he invited me to China. And I learned about Chinese culture a little bit and I fell in love with it. Came back. I changed my whole, I graduated from Penn State, decided to go into school for acupuncture in Florida. I moved to Florida, I went for my doctorate in acupuncture, and while I was in school, couldn't pay my rent. So I had to find ways to be creative. So Airbnb was one of those things. I had hustles, but I've always had jobs, worked 3 jobs, always doing a lot of things because I come from 2 immigrant parents that came here with $17, believed in real estate and working hard. And if you weren't working, you're lazy to my mom. Everything's lazy. So if you have immigrant parents, you got to work hard. So I had to do something. So if it wasn't school, I wasn't making money. And that's how I kind of kept going with it. But I met Eddie, and since then we've been going at it on how we can develop something together and with that aligns with our purpose and vision. And El Salvador was one of those things that came up and it was perfect.
Wow. So Julian, get me back. You said 3 jobs?
Yeah. I worked in a restaurant as a busser, kitchen, bar back. I did the dirtiest jobs in restaurants. I used to deliver newspaper at 5 a.m. at 13 years old. I started a plowing business, where I shoveled snow from house to house, printed out flyers, go all throughout the neighborhood. So I was always working as a teenager, and I worked so hard that I didn't have to go to practice because my coaches knew I worked. So I would just show up to games for sporting events, and all the other classmates would be like, "Why doesn't Drew have to go to practice?" And I literally just show up to the game because I had to work and provide for myself. My parents were not like, "You know what, you're going to work." So I worked a lot in high school and college while I was in school.
I don't know if you guys watch George Reese and Steve Lee. They used to have 3 jobs before they got involved in network marketing, made millions of dollars, more than $10 million. I mean, George and Steve Lee. So when you said 3 jobs, it seems like, you know what? It seems like, very similar.
Yeah.
Wow.
At one point I was driving a truck and I would pick up chickens from the farm, put them in crates, drive them to the slaughterhouse for $600 a day. And then at 2 a.m, I would start my job and go till 4 p.m. the next day. But it was $600 cash a day. And then on the weekends, I worked in the restaurant and I was doing all this while I was getting my degree. And I worked for a moving business where I'd move furniture into houses as well. So I don't know anything else but working hard.
Wow. 3 jobs. Incredible. So tell us, where are your parents from?
My parents from Dominican Republic and my dad's from Haiti. My dad was a mechanic and my mom worked in a button factory. And they saved money, started businesses, and then they did pretty well in real estate.
Wow. So, Eddie, what about you? You used to, what was your first job? And you used to work 1 job, 2 jobs, go to school, get a degree. Tell us your story.
Yeah. So what happened for me was that at a really young age, I found a passion in professional dancing, break dancer, hip hop dancer. And at like 12, 13 years old, I was realizing around me in suburbia in Connecticut, I noticed that a lot of these kids wanted to learn breakdancing and b-boying. So I started organizing packages and I had like 35 students that were paying monthly for my education on classes every single day. So from the age of like 11 to 19, I basically had competitions. I'd compete for money, but then I'd spend all my time just teaching kids how to dance. And that's what I did all the way up until I was 19. But I had a pretty bad injury at 17. Doctor said I would never dance ever again. And my whole life has been about proving people wrong. So I just trained my ass off, got stronger than I was before, and I started competing at an even higher level. And at that time, though, in the back of my mind, I kept saying, if I ever run into an opportunity, if I find something that that I can find or build financial freedom in, then I'm going to do it. And that was when I found network marketing, 19 years old, got involved, went full blown 100-hour work weeks. And that was it. I just started building my company. I would spend a lot of time in New York City. We would go to the corner of every single block in New York. We would switch spots all over the city and would meet there at 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning, even if it was winter, 10 degrees outside.
Build network marketing, right? To build network marketing. What year was that, Eddie?
That was in 2006 when I started network marketing.
Okay.
Yep. Because, when you join network marketing, you don't have the credibility. Now today, when you build influence and credibility, there's a million people you can call to borrow money or bring resources or find an investor on a project. But when you're brand new, no success, no track record, especially when it comes to network marketing, right? You know very well, Edgardo, talking to people in the beginning, it's hard to get people to see the vision of what you're doing. So I had to go create my own market. And I would go to the corner of 34th and 8th Avenue, 42nd and 8th. It didn't matter where in New York City, 10 degrees outside. And I'd go there with 30, 40, 50 members of my team. And nobody was allowed to go back inside the coffee shop and warm up and drink coffee until they filled up their clipboard of 40 numbers of strangers in the street. So you had to get 40 of strangers, and then you can come inside and get coffee, and then you can warm up, and then you would make phone calls to book appointments for the next day. And then
there's people that you were getting those contacts, right? You will start calling them.
Yeah. The contacts from the day before, right? We would call today, and the contacts that we got that day, we would call tomorrow. And it was this cycle of booking appointments, and then the whole afternoon and evening was presentations, and at night there was always a presentation somewhere in the city, a hotel event, a studio event, leadership training, basic training. But the nighttime was for meeting, during the day was presentations, and the morning was marketing. No social media for that.
Yeah, that's interesting, because back then when we did this, there was no social media like today. I mean, today is much easy. I mean, the tools and everything is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So were you doing it part-time, full-time? You used to have a job at that time, Eddie?
No, dancing covered all my bills. When I went into network marketing, what I just did was that I had a little bit of money saved, and I had a lot of lines of credit. So my first year, I maxed out all my credit cards, spent all my money, and went pretty broke. I was in a basement with 6 people sharing one bathroom. And that was my first year and a half, 2 years. And then after my second year, broke 6 figures. My third year, broke $250,000 a year. And then since then, just been coasting. No, marketing's been our foundation.
Okay. So take me from the beginning, from the beginning of network marketing, when you achieved your first $1 million, because that's a big goal in network marketing, to earn the first million. The second one comes easier. The third one is just, you're getting used to, and then everything else, it comes, But tell me, how long it took you to make the first million?
So it took me about 4 years to get to the first million.
Okay.
And instead,
the second one? The second?
2 years.
Do you remember?
2 years.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. So, and how much in revenue you think you did on network marketing?
Close to $1 billion.
Far?
Close to $1 billion.
Close to $1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no, that's great. Let me just share something. When I used to go to high school, I mean, I tried to break dancing. I'm going to tell you, I mean, that was one of my dreams. I always say that I didn't have no dreams about big dreams, like a Lamborghini or anything. But about dancing, yeah. That was it. Break. Oh, I mean, that was the thing those days back then on the break, I mean, but that wasn't good for me though. So anyway. So Julian, what experience do you have about network marketing? It seems like Eddie, I see where you guys pretty much partnership right now, what you guys doing in Salvador, which we're going to get into right now. But Julian, what do you think about network marketing? I mean, you're on the medical.
I love it. I love it. Actually, while I was in school, that's how me and Eddie connected, really. I started what a company he was in. And I love the personal development. I love the events. I would be around Eddie. I wasn't making much money. I did a lot of network marketing companies. I never really made money in network marketing, but I got so much out of it. You know, I saw how business was ran, relationships. I didn't see the point of certain things prior to network marketing, but I understood you know, how, you know, people are necessary, and you got to make it mutually beneficial, right? You got to be there for people and lead them and guide them. And that part of network marketing really helped me in my business to really expand it when I started a 7-figure business in Airbnb. Had I not done network marketing, I don't think that would have been possible, because a lot of the tools in network marketing, watching the leaders and how they conduct themselves and learning how to share your story, relate to people and build a team and just like build something, you know, a vision for people to follow, to go into. Network marketing gives you that. It gives you that ability to say, hey, I want to do something big and I'm going to bring everyone with me. And then they all get excited about it, right? And then they're all pushing to make it happen. So that kind of thing gave me that push to go to next levels in Airbnb.
You know what's so interesting, Edgardo? What's so interesting, really quick to chime in on that, is that when I met Julian, he admired me in business and leadership development, and I admired him, and he was like so zen, health and wellness, focused on developing himself and growing himself spiritually. And I was like, man, I need to be more like that. And he was like, man, I need to be more like you. And it was funny because he went off, you know, built a 7-figure, $200 million portfolio in Airbnb rentals and all that. And so when we reconnected, it was so funny because his business was exploding, but then my spiritual growth was growing. So now, like every single day, we teach each other in business and we teach each other in spiritual growth, and we constantly keep challenging each other, you know, in both areas. But, you know, Julian's been a pleasure to work with because outside of business, everything that we do, like our families do things together, our wives do things together, our kids do things together. You know, if something happens to me, his family and my family, we take care of each other's estates. If something happens to me, my wife knows to contact Julian and get him the crypto codes or help the estate planning for our trust. And so now we're just trying to bring more people into this ecosystem of a full balance of, it's not just about making money, but it's about having full balance in every area of your life and helping people understand how to create that.
Agree with that. And I agree with that 100%, everything what you just said. And that's very, very important. And what Julian said about what he learned out of network marketing, even though he didn't make the millions of dollars in network marketing, but he had so much knowledge for other businesses that he got involved. And
Totally.
I heard this many, many other friends that they said, I didn't make my millions in network marketing, but it helped me so much to become successful in the other businesses. Okay. So let's get to why you guys went to El Salvador and lived there, moved there, invested all the investments that you guys doing. And I mean, I see on Instagram and I shared the Bitcoin mansion in Surf City. I mean, tell us from the beginning, whose idea was to go to El Salvador and do what you guys doing, and why are you guys doing it? Why are you guys so excited and so passionate what you guys do?
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely Eddie's idea to come here. It's his country. You know, he's coming here for years, and he came back for his grandmother to bury her when she passed away. And he called me up and he said, you know, you got to come here and check this out. This is booming. My family's thriving. Everything's so much better here. And I thought he was completely nuts. I thought he lost his mind. I was like, what do you mean? I started researching El Salvador, what I really fell in love with is what, you know, I started going deep into Bukele, who he was, his values, who his father was, who his mother was. You know, I really analyzed things. I was telling Eddie earlier, I realized my university taught me about research. I went to Penn State. I graduated Penn State, and it's a research university. So every assignment, every class is about research. So one thing it gave me is ability to be analytical and look into things deeply and research. So I did my research, and everything when I went out there pointed to, this was a home run. This is where we need to be culturally. They're moving in the direction of Bukele, their leader, is making everything sovereign here. He's going to create a better future here. And not often do countries transform like this. You know, we're in the beginning of it, and we can really stand on a pillar to say, hey, we helped and contribute to this world change.
Well, when was the first time you visited El Salvador, Julian?
November of last year. No, 2 years ago. It's going to be 2 years in November. Yeah, it's going to be 2 years in November, which is not this kind of, yeah.
What about you, Eddie?
So I grew up in the country. I spent my whole childhood here. And, I've been to a lot of Latin American countries, but there's always been something special here. I know a big part of it has to do with, yes, my family's from here, but this is the highest concentration of volcanoes on the planet. And there's something energetic to that, to being here, right? And so growing up, I have so many beautiful memories. But then after 2004, I stopped coming because it got pretty bad. I have 30 first cousins here, lots of aunts and uncles, huge family. And watching them go through extortion, watching them go through everything that the country went through, Edgardo, it got so bad. And so I stopped coming, had no plans of coming back. All my cousins kept telling me, Eddie, you got to come back. You're doing land development. You need to see the transformation. I really wasn't interested. When Bukele announced that Bitcoin was legal tender, I said, okay, this is kind of cool. Maybe buy something small, be able to take advantage of cryptocurrency laws in the future of what he's trying to do. But didn't really think that big, had no plans. My grandmother passed away in September of 2022, and that was when I came. And so when I saw the transformation, I saw, wow, this is a chance where we can actually operate sovereign, right? Obviously, there's an opportunity for real estate that, in my opinion, is the biggest real estate opportunity on the planet. Number one, reverse migration country. You got 1 million Salvadorians coming to move back over the next 18 months. That's like Rhode Island. The size of Rhode Island is so small. That's the size of El Salvador. So now you got millions of people coming back to a country that's small. The only answer is new infrastructure, new development. So we get to provide that. But outside of that, for me and Julian, our biggest thing is sovereignty in the mind, the body, the soul, but then also in your finances. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that, the way that they've established things in America and the way that things are set up, there's better places like Singapore, Dubai to set up banking, to operate in cryptocurrency laws. And El Salvador just has something so outside the box that's so different that me and Julian are like, oh my God, this is like utopia. I mean, it's the safest country in the world, literally, for sure in the Americas. And now you're able to operate on Bitcoin, take advantage of tax laws, take advantage of the new tech, and then all this foreign investment coming in. It's just like the perfect time to do so many things. So Julian was the creator of the Bitcoin Mansion in 2017 in Miami. Super successful concept. And he brought some of the most amazing cryptocurrency people in the world to that home. So when we were in El Salvador, we're talking about how we can kind of be the authority and the epicenter for Bitcoin here. We want to be able to bring the community. And every time we go to an event, it's at a restaurant or it's at something that's not the best environment to bring people together. So we decided to buy this mansion on the edge of the cliff. It's the most beautiful property that we can find within 30 minutes of the city. It's a cliff outside, on the edge of on the beach. And, it's the Bitcoin Mansion of El Salvador. And we're bringing the best, most brilliant minds from all over the world and in El Salvador to create a culture of growth in cryptocurrency and in Bitcoin.
Yeah, I just saw an event there in the Bitcoin Mansion. You guys had 100 guests over there in the house?
About 120, yeah.
About 120. I have some speakers, some guests, some very good people, right?
Amazing people, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm just realizing something, if I could add this, because talking on this show made me realize how similar me and Eddie's background is, in that we come from families that had to work really, really hard. Every dollar was saved. Everything was it was a hard life for them, but they built a very great family and they did everything they could. So I think Eddie and I really love freedom. We love our sovereignty. We love great experiences, community. And I think that's what we're trying to create for our community that all incorporates that, everything we stand for in our passions.
So when do you guys decided to move and live there? And pretty much said, you know what? We're moving to El Salvador.
After we got the house, after we closed on the house, we realized we have to be there because we're going to be hosting some of the most influential people in the world. We're going to bring a ton of people here and we're going to bring celebrities, influencers, great minds together. Crypto influencers, and we're going to make this house 1 billion views on social media. You're going to see the house eventually on someone's social media. We're hosting people there. We're doing events. And there, some of them are very exclusive events. Some of them are more publicly in the smaller niche markets. And so that's the goal here, and to expose people to our projects, to our community we're building, land developments we're doing in the country, which is really what our main focus is right now is land development and selling lots and houses and creating a community around it, pertaining to health and wellness.
So tell us where you guys at right now when it comes about that project, and where do you guys see you guys on the next 5 years?
Yeah. So phase one of the whole project was just acquiring as much land as possible. You know, the thing about El Salvador right now is that a lot of countries like Belize, they make these announcements that they're going to put in all this infrastructure and do all these things. And then people buy the land, and a lot of times things don't get completed. And El Salvador historically has had that problem too, where they're going to, you know, build all this infrastructure. So people buy all this land and they invest all this money and time, and things don't get completed. But this new government's model or their message is, si nadie roba, if no one steals, right, there's always enough, right? As long as no one steals, there's always enough. That's the model. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And so the government right now, every single carretera road that they've announced, every single thing that they said they were going to do, you go to Centro Histórico, which is the central district where all the new stuff is being built. It's like a new Singapore going up. Everything gets completed above and beyond. And so when I told Julian, I said, Julian, do you understand that if we buy this prime real estate, right? There's a part of El Salvador called El Tunco, Surf City. That's where the biggest boom of, you know, all the surfers have come from all over the world. The thing about El Salvador is that you have surfing all year round. It's not like Brazil where you have a specific time of the year. All year round you can surf. And so that's very unique to El Salvador. And then the water is very, very warm. So there's no sharks. So you got the best waves. You got surfing all year. You got no sharks. It's a lot of positive stuff for surfers, right? So Bukele made an announcement that we're going to develop Surf City 2. Surf City 1's model was very successful, and they announced Surf City 2. Surf City 2 is right by Bitcoin City, which is about 30 minutes away, where he's going to put about $1 billion into a city, or I don't know, a few billion actually, into a city that's going to be absolutely incredible. You can take a look at the information at our website, travelelsalvador.com. Travelelsalvador.com. You can learn more about Bitcoin City. But then I was thinking, I was like, man, right now, all this land is just dirt. And they're about to put in all these roads, all this electricity, all this water, all the infrastructure. If we just focus on buying as much land as we possibly can, once the infrastructure comes in, it's a game changer for us. And so we've been identifying markets that have a good surfing market, Bitcoiner market, and new infrastructure coming in. And so since then, we've purchased close to 1,000 acres, all coastal beachfront. And all of our developments have it as an aspect to prime real estate with beautiful views. But then all of our development that we're building are going to have things like saunas in them, jacuzzis, cold plunges, almost like retreat ready, right? We think that the future of what's coming is people wanting to rent spaces and do retreats. Now, if you come to our space, everybody likes a jacuzzi or everyone likes a sauna. But when you're really intentional about healing, these are like a make or break for a wellness education retreat, right? So all of our developments are going to be tailored towards people that want to surf, people that just want to get away, but then also people, if you want to host a retreat, all of our developments are going to have that as well.
Wow. So Julian, what do you guys see on the next 5 years?
Oh, I see about over 100 homes built and sold. I see community retreats happening monthly, where Eddie and I are going to be leading them, some of them, and having coaches in them, and healing retreats. I see a valuation of almost $1 billion company of Travel El Salvador with real estate assets and a massive community behind it in the DAO space. We're going to turn into a DAO, and we're going to have banking options. We're going to have financing options. So we're putting everything in place to have that, to really give people time freedom, to teach them a better way of living. Because again, this all comes from our passion. I think I was born to do this. I saw my parents work really hard. My parents never been into a vacation and they're millionaires. Like they just, to this day, they work. My mom goes to Goodwill. She saves ketchup. Like they live dollar to dollar. So they're very frugal. And so I always try to enjoy life and be different from them, right? When you see your parents and your family do something and you want to live better. And I want to do that for other people. I feel like that's what I was meant to do. I feel like Eddie was meant to do that as well. We're on this mission to be the ones that make a really big impact in this space of, workspaces with community aspects and sovereignty, lifestyle living with health and wellness. So it's a lot of different things incorporated at different levels. But mainly right now, we're starting with the first level, which is we have the land, we're developing it. We're bringing our so-called tribe and people who see eye to eye with what we see the future's going. I think people are going to have way more time freedom in the future. They're going to find ways to make money online, cash flows. And what do you do when you have all this time? You're going to be, they say the three vices is like boredom. And so I forget the other two right now, but, you got to keep busy as a person. You got to have community. And I think that's where the future's heading, because everyone seems like segregated in their own thing, individuality now with social media. And I think community is going to be a major, point of the future. I mean, people are going to want to get to find their communities, and NFTs blew up really big. That whole NFT community thing. I think that was the first example of what it's going to look like. And the next evolution of that is going to be a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization where money flows and all these aspects. And it's going to happen in real estate first. Companies like BlackRock are creating these concepts, and we're just following their lead, where the money's going, where the people are going, and where the future's going.
So the people that is watching this episode right now, Eddie and Julian, where can they go and follow you guys and get all this information about Salvador? I know you said the website, if I'm not mistaken, Eddie.
Yep. TravelElSalvador.com is our company. TravelElSalvador.com. You can also search our headquarters, the Bitcoin Mansion. Just search online, the Bitcoin Mansion. It's pretty easy to find on social. And my social is Eddie Mentor, EDDIE Mentor, MENTORE.
Julian Duchenne, JULIAN DUCHEINE EINE. And and just our names. And then we also have the Bitcoin Mansion Instagram. We just got a whole new social media team, and we're going to see a lot of great content, education. We're going to share our story in the coming weeks. So if you follow us, you'll get more information to see the journey and understand where we're going. We did about 10,000 hours of recording, and we got us in like the woods talking about this, meditating. Before we started buying anything and doing anything in the country, Eddie and I were like connected spiritually. Like, should we do this? Should we go hard and build here and do all these things? And really got to talking and planning. And, so we have footage on that, mic'd up and everything, that we're going to release little by little over the next couple months. And so we're excited to share that with everybody.
Wow. I mean, El Salvador is all over the news, okay? When Bitcoin became the legal tender in El Salvador, the first country in the world, it became one of the most popular countries around the world. Then, when El Salvador was announced to be the safest country in the world, pretty much in all Latin America. And I just read the other day that it's safest in Switzerland. I don't know if you read it, but every single time there is more news coming out of El Salvador. So Bukele is going for the second term, another 5 years. What he did on the first 5 years is the impossible. If you don't know, you're watching, go see the history where El Salvador was the worst country. Okay, it was like, I just went there 2014, 2015, and in and out to see my brother. Okay, that's how dangerous it was. There were cities you come in and you don't get out. Okay, that's how dangerous it was. Now you can go anywhere, 24/7.
I take my kids to random parks. I take my kids to random parks in barrios, and they have fun with the locals. They're playing with the kids, and it's just so safe. I don't feel threat at all. It's incredible.
And
think of I tell people, think of Costa Rica that love Costa Rica. But Costa Rica, you go to the city and the beach is 3 hours away. You come to this city, the beach is 30, 40 minutes, and you got the best beach. The furthest beach is 2 hours.
Just Google, okay? Just Google El Salvador right now, compared to any country that you want. How safe it is. Now, the growth, how many people is visiting El Salvador is incredible.
I think it was one of the most visited countries in Central America, 2023, in South and Latin America.
Yeah. So, they're projected to be the next Japan, the next Singapore. So when you're talking about investing in land, it's a gold mine.
Yeah. Big time.
We've seen it. We've seen the appreciation, and we're excited to get we just subdivided our lots, and we're ready to share them with people. So in about a couple days right now, 4 or 5 days, we'll be ready to start selling lots. in the Punta Mango, which is the Surf City 2. They're building a whole new beach town city. And we have the prime location beach right there in like the beach town they're building. And they're putting millions and millions of dollars into infrastructure in that place. And they're building a new city nearby. New airports got announced, and there's dirt being moved already.
And we're gonna do the second part of those development. See where you guys, where you guys at right now, and where you guys gonna be in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, and because what you guys doing is incredible. I see it. Okay, what you guys did, moved there, all this land that you guys buying, the new development. It's amazing. Let's put it that way. So, Eddie and Julian, I'm going to open it up before we close this show. Anything you want to share, Eddie?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things that you said was that El Salvador is making a statement. Me and Julian, we know we're not everyone's cup of tea. We have no problem being our unapologetic self and talking about what's happening in the world. I think that people are starting to realize that there's a system in place that's trying to break down the psyche of man and the mind, the body, and the spirit. They've poisoned our water. They've poisoned our food. They've poisoned our children with pornography. They've poisoned the education system. And we don't stand for that, right? We believe in thinking outside the box. We believe in sovereignty and helping people. We believe in showing people a better way. And I just don't know of another place in the world to do it than El Salvador. I feel like El Salvador has all the legal framework and everything in place to be a complete sovereign free person, right? And also in America, they've set things in place where there's just traps everywhere where it makes it very, very hard for you to be even just healthy with your children, right? And so, our plan here in El Salvador is really to show people just like a beacon of light, right? That you can come to El Salvador, you can set up offshore banking, you can have sovereignty in your body, you can know you're getting clean water, you're getting clean air, you're getting clean food, and you're building your family on a financial platform that America makes it very, very difficult, or the world makes it very, very, very difficult to achieve. And so we are against all systems that hold back freedom, and we're just trying to help as many people join our cause.
Yeah.
Julian, anything else you want to add?
Eddie and I could be anywhere in the world doing anything we want, and we choose to be here. That's enough said for me, because we've already achieved some level of success where I don't need to work in one place. I could be anywhere, and we're here and we're doing this as a mission, and we're just excited to share it with people. And we have opportunities that I think are probably the best right now in the world as far as real estate development goes.
Sounds good, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember, this channel is growing, and share and give us a like. Eddie, Julian, it's been an honor to have you on my show, and we're going to do a follow-up because what you guys doing, this is just the beginning, okay? What you guys doing, just the beginning. Pretty much you guys been there for how long in Salvador?
2 years. We just set up the framework. Just 2 years this November. We'll be 2 years this November. And all we did the last 2 years.
Living over there.
Oh, no, 4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months. So pretty much right now, let's say you just move in. Just put it this way. You just move in and you guys already have, I don't know how much land do you think, you guys have already?
Close to 1,000 acres.
1,000 acres.
Okay.
Beachfront, coastal region. Coastal.
Okay. And that's the beginning. So we're going to do a follow-up, okay? To follow up, see what you guys have. It's been an honor once again. And, well, you know what? Man, this been very, very excited. I know people here are going to be doing all comments, all kind of stuff. So, bye, everyone. Eddie.
Thank you, brother.
Julian, thank you for being here, my friend.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.